Hello everyone, and welcome to another vlog. Today I am in Hillsboro, Oregon, and I'm looking at another vintage toy store, Bowie's Bargains. Looks like it'll be a pretty interesting store, so we'll go check out what they have, see what they have in store, and go from there. All right, well, right when you walk inside, you can see this has quite the collection of vintage toys, starting with this shelf over here. We can see there's Bobby's World. That definitely takes me back. You got a castle back here. I don't know what that's from, but anyone can let me know in the comments. You got the California Raisins, always a 90s classic, even late 80s. You have the Flintstones Happy Meal here from the movie, including some Flintstone toys. Up here, kind of more recent toys, you got Stranger Things, and then there's also some Peanuts. You got Mr. Potato Head, of course. Gotta have that. Always a classic toy. And up here, pretty cool lunch boxes. You got the Marvel Superheroes box, which I used to have way back in the day, and the Tasmanian Devil. You got some Star Trek toys, ranging from kind of the older to the more recent years. So across all the various Star Treks, Captain Picard over there. Worf, right? That was the name of the other one. I didn't really follow Star Trek that much, but anyone can let me know. But there's quite a bit of Star Trek all through the years, including the Next Generation, as you see here. And there's an Enterprise toy based on, looks like the original Star Trek. And there's a comic for that. And you got a Star Trek The Next Generation beam toy. That actually would be cool to see in action. Some Star Wars toys, of course. Every vintage toy store has to have these. So Darth Vader, some of, was it, I almost said Boba Fett, BB-8, but you know, both started with a B. You got Darth Vader over here. So again, it's kind of Star Wars is like Star Trek. You have all the toys from the movies throughout the whole series, including the newer movies and even the most recent Disney movies as well. So again, Star Trek, Star Wars, I don't know that well. I know that's the Millennium Falcon. And of course they have to have that classic. And then it looks like another fighter thing. Anyone can comment below. I'm struggling with Star Wars. Jedi though. You got a Jedi here. And you got Princess Leia and R2-D2 and a larger R2-D2 over here. And then it looks like I don't think that's a popcorn bucket, but just a toy of the Death Star. You got an attack shuttle up here in the box. And some toys I don't recognize, so that thing's pretty cool. I like that one. Looks a little bit like the snowman from the Matterhorn. This barn, actually, I used to have. I remember this. It makes me feel old, but I used to have that one. And up here, you got some Batman, the animated series figures, including Commissioner Gordon. Over here, I forget who this is. I guess it's Harvey Dent. Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Bane, and you got, of course, Mr. Freeze out here as well from the animated series. Let's see what else. There's just so many things in this store. Some of the Japanese shows that I'm not as familiar with, but they've got those figures as well. Ninja Turtles, you have to have those at every vintage toy store. So they got quite the collection here, including through all the years and all the various Ninja Turtles, including Splinter, of course. You got a Party Ninja Turtle and a Firefighter one. And then I remember this. I remember the Ninja Turtle van. That was a big hit back in the day. And then some Disney-related items. You got a vintage Mickey Mouse, kind of old McDonald's and Pez figures here. You got Pete's Dragon over there. More recent figures, like Pixar figures as well. You got Mickey Mouse Club March record, kind of going way back. A lunch pail, a Captain Hook toy. I think that's from the movie Hook, if I recall. Pinocchio, an old Pinocchio toy. And these cups from Disney World. And then it looks like a train and a Bug's Life toy. So again, all through the years. I remember that McDonald's toy over there, the Mac Tonight. Anyone remember that? And I just barely glanced at that one. Let's see. There's a little Orphan Annie oven here. It looks like a pretty old toy as well. And you got, of course, superheroes on the shelf over here. Classic superheroes, including the Flash, some DC heroes, and Marvel. Got a Spider-Man Pez, Penguin toy. I remember that Penguin toy. I think used to have that one way back in the day. Some other kind of vintage superhero toys, including the vintage Batmobile from the 66 series. Some Marvel Legends up here. Kind of more recent figures from the Fantastic Four and Thor. That rhymes. But kind of more recent figures here. And if we go up, every vintage toy store has this. You have the He-Man castles up above. And they're always up above. You just look up and you'll see them. And then the Battle Cat, I believe, from Masters of the Universe next to that. There's an Avengers Iron Man next to all of that as well. Kind of more modern toys. Some Spider-Man toys, including Sandman, a Spider-Man lunchbox from back in the day, a Spawn mobile. I didn't know that was a thing with Spawn. Again, of course, the vintage Batmobile we saw earlier. Some pretty cool old trading cards. You got E.T., Back to the Future Part 2 is their Topps trading cards. I should have bought a pack and opened it, but it is what it is. You got Batman and Robin over here. Again, some classics, some baseball cards from the past. Various old school baseball cards as well. And the toys just continue. You got some more toys over here in their own bins, including vintage Star Wars toys. And some wrestling toys, it looks like. Some of the Ninja Turtles in this basket over here as well. Just the classic Ninja Turtle toys. And then some more recent Marvel toys as well. Let's see what else you got. Again, another Star Wars toy. This Sesame Street toy, either I feel like I used to have or I always wanted it way back in the day. But anyway, I think I had this as a kid. I'm trying to remember. But got Big Bird here, of course. You got the Market over here, all the classic things. Bert and Ernie. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I had that one with Bert and Ernie. Another Millennium Falcon over here. I guess that's the thing with Sesame Street toys is when you had them, you probably don't really remember when you had them. You got Star Wars toys, kind of more classic figures here. The owner of the store was nice enough to open the case for me, and so we could see them clearly. There's even a Star Wars projector here, and some more Star Wars figures, and other kind of, I think, comic book figures below. These are actually from I believe, Japanese comics below. But then, of course, you have a older Yoda, Princess Leia up above. Of course, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, including on this horse figure. I used to have that Juggernaut figure from Marvel back in the day. But yeah, some of those as well. And then, of course, old school Disney figures, including a Disneyland Mouseketeer hat and a watch and a vintage Mickey Mouse figure. Some more He-Man figures just above that, including Skeletor and some of the other villains. That's a pretty cool Mickey Mouse viewfinder. I think that's what that was called. And you have a Disney plate over there from a Mickey Mouse cartoon, A Gentleman's Gentleman. And then some old books with the records. Does anyone remember Earthworm Jim? I remember that cartoon. Apparently there were toys related to that too. That kind of takes me back. That was a 90s cartoon. But yeah, this cabinet is just chock full of things. You got this Land Shark from Masters of the Universe above that too. You got some Cabbage Patch Kids, so some old school Cabbage Patch mixed in with a Baby Yoda, more recent toy. And you got more Star Wars figures up above, including Darth Vader and Yoda and Princess Leia. Again, looks like figures throughout the years, throughout the various movies and series. So quite the collection here, including the late 90s Episode 1 release. You got some Marvel superheroes in a box over here. Kind of interesting that they're in a box. But you got Spider-Man, Iron Man. You just can't see them yet. They have a classic Hulk over here. That's a good one. And behind that is Iron Man. Again, all the classic Marvel figures. And an Uncanny X-Men figure next to that. An old Tonka truck. This is pretty interesting. A Monopoly game pen. I wonder if can you actually play with that? I should have looked closer at that. Star Trek: The Next Generation. More of those continue on the wall over here, including Captain Picard. Looks like when he, I believe, time traveled, right, in one of the episodes. Got Star Trek Deep Space Nine as well. Just behind that. And behind this figure, oh yeah, another Star Trek Deep Space Nine figure. So again, a lot of the Star Trek series throughout the years. Starting lineup, which always reminds me of Home Alone when Kevin McAllister shot those down with the BB gun. But you got the starting lineup figures, a lot of the sports figures from the early to mid 90s. So pretty cool throwback there. No pun intended. And some more Batman figures. An Amazing Spider-Man Electro figure. This is the re-release by Kenner, but that's still a pretty cool one. They have Firestar as well from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which my cousin and I used to watch constantly when we were kids. You got a giant Hulk over here, and another more kind of recent Star Wars, unless that's supposed to be Luke Skywalker. No, it's a recent Star Wars. And then the Infinity Gauntlet, of course. Have to have that. G.I. Joe cards, and G.I. Joe and Rambo, unless those are both Rambo toys. Some old McDonald's Happy Meals. I used to have some of these, I believe, with the characters in the car way back in the day. And then more starting lineup figures up here. Some Disney figures as well. We saw this in some of the other vintage toy stores. So you got Snow White, Cinderella. I kind of remember them selling those, I believe, at Disneyland way back in the day. And then even up to the window, you got, of course, classic dinosaurs and some Jurassic World figures and an old service station toy that looks like it's from maybe the 50s. You got a Walt Disney World lunchbox. That's pretty cool. Vintage one. Clash of the Titans lunchbox next to that. Some aliens peeking their heads just below that. And yeah, this is pretty cool. Like everywhere you look, there's more things to see, especially even just out on display in some of these buckets as well. I mentioned the old Tonka truck, Missile Flyers toy. I don't remember that one from the past, but I'm sure I would have loved it. And yeah, pretty interesting things. We'll take a look again. Come with me this way. We're going to look at this shelf now. You got a Jurassic Park toy up above, one of the dinosaurs. Some of the Ninja Turtles that are more collectible Ninja Turtles in this section here, including, like, I believe a space Michelangelo or one of the figures, and then Raphael as a magician. You got the classic Ninja Turtles in here as well, next to some Ninja Turtle comics. So you're never at a loss for Ninja Turtles at these vintage toy stores. Some classic, again, Batman the Animated Series, including a Batgirl figure. Looks like an old, maybe Polly Pocket figure. Again, like I mentioned, a lot of comics that go with the toys that are associated with them. So you can get the whole package here at the toy store, including these pretty cool looking villains from Ninja Turtles as well. And below that, kind of more, looks like a hodgepodge of Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters toys, some of which I haven't seen before at other toy stores. You got a New Kids on the Block phone, pretty amazing. A Smurfs lunch pail, very 80s. And then, again, some other figures I don't 100% know what they are from, but you can let me know in the comments if you happen to know, if I missed anything. Those Ghostbusters are cool. I would have loved those. I had that little tiny collection way back in the day. And let's see what we got here. Some interesting figure. Oh, Pound Puppy's Lunchbox. Another classic 80s reference. Pretty cool. And even on this shelf, if we go this way over here, a lot of cool things. You got some of the Marvel superhero toys from the early 90s. Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus and The Thing from Fantastic Four, as well as the Hulk with the crushing arm. I used to have The Thing. Let's see what else. Another Spider-Man toy used to have this exact Spider-Man that would shoot the web. That was pretty cool. Some classic Spider-Man comics from back in the day as well. Pretty cool. An X-Men collectible comic toy from Toy Biz, which was that early 90s Marvel brand. And some of these McDonald's toys as well. Happy Meals, the Fry Guys, and Berenstain Bear Happy Meals. Takes me back. You got a Bob Ross, of course. Joy of Painting and Bob Ross figure. And then the Garbage Pail Kids cards. That seemed to be a classic staple at every vintage toy store, but those were such a big thing in the late 80s. Battle of the Alamo Heritage playset that looks pretty old. So you got some American history here. Fantastic Four figure. And it looks like Spider-Man 3 scene with Sandman. Sandman attack scene from the Tobey Maguire movies. Let's see what else. Oh, speaking of Spider-Man, you got this giant Venom head. That's pretty cool. Guess this is a popcorn bucket, I'm guessing. Next to the Wolverine one, you got a Venom figure over here. And let's see what else. Again, everywhere you turn, something else. You got some kind of older G.I. Joe figures here as well. I believe these are G.I. Joe. And then even some Happy Meal toys from way back in the day. That was a Batgirl toy. Again, the Berenstain Bears on a seesaw. All these kind of early 90s toys. You have the Jungle Book. I actually remember a lot of these Happy Meal toys and had some of these at one point. But here they are, all wrapped up. You got Grandma Dinosaur from Dinosaurs. So yeah, pretty cool stuff over there. And then I remember that. It looks like a food figure that also can it wasn't Food Fighters, which was a separate thing, but it was like a Happy Meal where the food, like that was like a muscle piece of meat. Kind of interesting concept. And then there's Mr. Peanut, kind of classic commercial items or corporate logo items here. Of course, you have Donny Osmond's Superstar, classic album. I'm guessing. I have no idea. Then, of course, we saw the Cabbage Patch Kids, including that Cabbage Patch Kids book earlier. Then even down here, there were things I had missed. There's a Mickey Mouse. I should grab that, but I didn't. There's a Fame and Fortune game here, kind of older games. Looks like from the 60s. And again, the hodgepodge of other toys here in some of these bins as well. And there's some buttons to choose from. Should have gone through some of those buttons. I did not, but nonetheless, quite a few buttons to choose from. They look pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty large collection over here. And then some poker chips, just in case. They have that here too. You can get everything. And if we go, of course, to continue the 90s goodness, you have a Brandon 90210 figure over here. And then there's an old Mickey Mouse. That actually goes past the 90s, but or way back before, but an old Mickey Mouse doll below that. And then it looks like a Ninja Turtle Troll combo figure there. You got the Gracie Allen, George Burns figure there. And then Teddy Roosevelt figure. That's pretty cool. It's a G.I. Joe Classic Collection. You got good old TR over there. And here's just a quick sign of Bowie Bargains and its owner. All right, so I just got out of the store. It is a great store, and not only that, the owner is super nice. His name's Jeff. Super nice guy. Opened the cabinets for me, let me film everything I wanted to. So highly recommend you check out this toy store. My favorite stuff has to be the Marvel stuff in here because that's childhood memories. So I did purchase a Spider-Man toy from my childhood. So those old school Marvel, like early 90s toys were my favorite, but let me know in the comments what your favorite were. And if you ever find yourself in Hillsboro, Oregon, be sure to check out this store. Again, the owner is super nice and cool, and they have a lot of cool things, so be sure to do that. But thanks for watching this channel. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos. I do these types of things, toy store videos, podcast style videos with friends, theme park videos. So please just subscribe if you can, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.